such an exciting time to be able to be here yet again, and of course to welcome you to another amazing package of Von Sports Update. Well, Von Sports Update is our digital media sporting package that always puts you to the know of the world of sport as it goes round. Ladies and gentlemen, on this very occasion today, this edition will feature the Super Eagles show as they prepare to take on Lesotho in the first game of the 2026 World Cup qualifiers at Godswill Akpabio Stadium there in Akwa Ibom State. This edition will also take a trip to the Nigeria Premier League, where we already have a phenomenal, fantastic TV right that seems to be adding some spice to the league at the moment. And not forgetting that we also have two individuals who have joined us on today's occasion. On this show today, we are also going to be talking about Football Academy in Nigeria and the promises and prospects that it does present. My name is Sean Pablo. Don't go away. We'll be right back after this break. Let's bring you back, of course, to Von Sports Update, where we give you the biggest talking point in the world of sports, the biggest stories, the juiciest stories, the spiciest stories, the sauciest stories, and you can, of course, stay right there and savour all that we have to present to you for your sporting entertainment. Ladies and gentlemen, very quickly, we will be getting into the show, but first off, I'd like to bring to this occasion our guest here today. First of all, let's go to the right. A man who has been in the game, played the game, and now he is a managerial administrator of the game. Talk about being able to raise players from here in Nigeria and send them straight to Europe to compete at the global stage of the game. Coach and manager, it's a pleasure to have you, sir, Segun Timothy Alade.
Thank you for having me.
Well, our manager Segun Timothy Alade is the CEO of Access Textile Logistics in Turkey, and he also happens to be the CEO of Access Football Academy based here in Abuja. In a very short while, we are going to be diving into what Access Football Academy really is all about. But before we do that as well, let's also bring you someone who is also a part of this show today. Sanusi Adelibigbe Abiola, welcome to the show.
Yeah, it's a pleasure being here.
Well, Abiola is the sport admin for Access Football Academy, and together, alongside myself, we're going to be doing justice to the show and as well as doing justice to the Super Eagles show. So first, where do we begin right now? Scratchy figures. Let's get started, Coach Alade. I call you coach, I call you manager, because with what you bring to the fold, it is much more than just coaching or just managing or just taking players to Europe to play. You have a footballing structure that also accommodates education for the betterment of every individual, even when they don't want to play football on the long run. What brought about the idea Access Football Academy?
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Pablo, for having me. And it's a great pleasure to be here. Access Football Academy, actually, like I said earlier, it was a vision. And I don't really want to dive into that as far back as 2010. And I was able to establish this academy in far away Turkey in 2017. And the purpose of establishing this football academy, I was a player, and my dream was to take my career abroad. You know what I mean? That's the dream of every young player in Nigeria. And along the line, I fell into the hand of a wrong, fake football agent, and they took me to Venezuela. From Venezuela, traveled through water to Trinidad and Tobago. It was a long story. And when I got back to Nigeria in 2010, then relocated to Turkey, I started thinking about it. That we have a lot of young talent who are going through exactly what I went through. And that was the reason why I decided to say, okay, something have to change. We have to change the narratives. We don't have to sit down, fold our hands, and watch young talents in this country melting away like candle wax. And that was what brought about Access Football Academy. Actually, it was Team Africa Turkey.
Team Africa Turkey. I saw that on one of your jerseys.
Yeah, the motive behind that was not just my focus then was not all about Nigerians alone, but every single African player that found themselves in such situation. I mean, they need something to encourage
to hold on to, of course,
to hold on to, something to put them back on track, because a whole lot of guys in Turkey right there, especially Nigeria, I know of nothing less than 15 different players. It's either they are in prison or died, drawn in the course of traveling to Europe. So this is not a hearsay. This is something I was part of. I witnessed a whole lot of it. I've counseled so many players not to take that route to Europe. And along the line, I decided, okay, let's start something. Brought them together, start training, and early this year, I decided to move most of these players back to Nigeria to start from here. And good enough, we have 2 people in Czech Republic already in a club right there. You know, it's not easy to convince parents that, look, I'm bringing your children back to Nigeria, to Africa. It's not an easy process.
When they went through so much to send them over there to Europe.
And here is somebody telling them that, look, these children have to come back to Nigeria.
And then I'm still going to send them back again in a better form, a better shape, and better performances. Of course, Coach Segun, that is really an amazing work you're doing. And of course, I'm so proud because the parents have seen how much you've put in, and that's why they themselves can also put in confidence in you and allow their kids to have the opportunity of a lifetime. You are the sporting administrator of the club. It's a whole lot to manage people, let alone manage so many people, and young people particularly, and footballers. Let's also put that out. How has it really been, especially with an idea this fresh, this new, this will I say scarce in the society, in our society today? How has it been being able to go through this, Sanusi?
Now, you know, one thing I would say about our system, Nigerian system, is data and programs for players. Now, we lack the data. That is why these foreign investors, foreign clubs don't want to come to Nigeria. So here in Access Football Academy, we are, if you ask me about our data, it's something I can proudly say that, yeah, this is our player, this is what we have, and this is what we can do. And our program, okay, we have this program we want to do in January, we have this for February, we have this for March. So coming is just like a preparation and opportunity meeting themselves, and that is why it's called Access.
So when Manager Segun was speaking earlier, he talked about access, granting opportunities, empowerment, you know, the right to be able to embrace life and embrace it fully, and that's the idea. It's not just about playing football. When you are giving this access to these players, how does access in its own self get back for access?
Now, one thing about access is it's not just about it's not monetary driven. Access is giving opportunity and gendering new talent. Now, you don't even need to be a football player. Now, how many sport administrators do we have in Nigeria? How many sport analysts do we have in Nigeria? How many people want to be sport journalists? So Access Academy is not just talking about the football. We are both on and off the pitch. So when you come to Access, you are assessing sport in general. So you know sport is a big business.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I don't need to go deeper.
And if I may add to that, you see, football in Nigeria I discovered that a whole lot of people are coming into the industry because of the money. So there is a difference between a business administrator and people that have the passion for the game. So when you have passion for the game, you don't look at the monetary aspect of it. You are given. I've been spending money in this academy since 2017.
And because of the vision.
Because of the vision
that you have seen. Well, of course, it is still us Von Sports Update, and we are just getting to scratch the surface to be able to give you the real package of the show. Right here, I've got a formidable force from Access Football Academy who are giving lifetime opportunities to young Nigerians, even in football and beyond. But from there, let's take a trip and let's talk a little bit about the under-20 Nigeria women's team that were able to get a draw in Tanzania. Very quickly, they played a 1-1 draw and will be returning back to Nigeria to take on for the second leg on Sunday here at Abuja. Coach, you have seen Coach Christopher Danjuma's girls, his Falconet. They have been really thriving. They've got young chaps. They've got players for the future. They've also got talent for now. How would you make up this team, especially as they prepare for the World Cup in Colombia this year, next year rather, 2024?
I see the Falconet making progress, serious progress. I've watched them train. I've watched them play friendly matches, and one thing I discovered about the team, they are pretty younger. The first time I saw them, I was asking my coach that, are these under 17? So the Super Falcon have a future. We have a young, vibrant, talented, and the desire.
The desire, the hunger.
Yeah, the hunger.
They want to make names for themselves.
Coach Danjuma is doing a great job, and if the sport ministry can give him more pushing hands, I think this guy will be their starting point.
Well, from one Nigeria football to another, and this perhaps is the reason why you see me in these colors. Anytime we wear this, we are talking about the Super Eagles of Nigeria. It will be match day on Thursday, the 16th of November, right there at the prosperous Goswill Akpabio Stadium, Uyo, Akwa Ibom State. Well, Nigeria will be taking on Lesotho in that game, and there's a whole lot to talk about. I mean, we've seen the 23-man list for the benefit of, for those who don't have it. But let's just put it out. We've seen the list for players who will be able to take this game and be able to assure Nigerians of the result of the game. Well, let me quickly read out the team list, if I may. In goalkeeping department, we have Francis Zoho of Omonia FC Cyprus, Olorunleke Ujo of Eimba International, Maduka Okoye, Udinese Calcio Italy. In defense, we have Olaoluwa Aino, Nottingham Forest England. We have Chidozie Awasim, Boavista FC Portugal, Bright Osayi Samuel, Fenerbahce Turkey, Bruno Oyemechi, Boavista Portugal, Kenneth Omeri, Kasim Pasha, Turkey, Oluwashemilogo Ajayi, West Bromwich Albion, England, Calvin Bassey, Fulham, England, Jamilu Collins, Cardiff City, Wales. We have Rafael Onyedika in midfield from Club Brugge, Belgium, Joe Aribo Ayodele, Southampton, England, Frank Onyeka, Brentford, England, Alex Iwobi, Fulham, England. And of course, in the forwards, we have Kelechi Iheanacho, Leicester City, England, Sadiq Umar, Real Sociedad in Spain, Moses Simon of NC Nantes in France. We have Ademola Lookman from Atalanta FC in Italy, Taiwo Awoniyi from Nottingham Forest, England, Terem Murphy, OGC Nice in France, Victor Boniface, Bayer Leverkusen, Germany, and the new boy, or rather the new kid on the block. Talk about Nathan Taylor. Nathan Taylor, for me, scored a fantastic goal in their 4-0 mauling of Union Berlin. Talk about Bayer Leverkusen as they were able to stay tops of the Bundesliga table. Sanusi, let's look at the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Looking at the goalkeeping department, we know very shortly Uzo has put us through so many heartbreaks and so many emotional disappointments. But he might just be better, or maybe we'll have better hands. What do you look forward to in the goalkeeping department for this game?
No, yeah, the goalkeeping department here in Super Eagles lately, it's not been, as a Nigerian, I'll be very factual. It's not been too good, but we have good hands. This Enyimba's keeper, Olorunleke Ojo, yeah, the guy is fantastic. Very, very, very. You can't compete. Like, what the last match, Enyimba's last match, the guy was very super. There was one save he made during the match. It was very, 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 very good. But the goalkeeper department, I just hope he's the one to play the match, to keep the match.
they surely they should.
Yeah, I just hope he's the one to
be in between the sticks.
Yeah, to be in between the sticks.
Well, of course, Olorunleke Ojo had been invited to the camp of the Super Eagles multiple times, but he hasn't broken through yet between the sticks. Perhaps against Lesotho will be the very first, as we know that Maduka Okoye of Udinese Calcio in Italy has not had any cap for the club this season, and as well as Francis Uzoho of Omonia Cyprus. Well, expectations, Coach?
Yeah, I would like to say one or two things about Uzoho. And being, like you said earlier on, a patriotic Nigeria, I would not blame Uzoho. Do we have a structure in the national team? In fact, our present coach, the coach of the national team, was his profile. I don't even know this man, period, at the time he was appointed as a Super Eagles coach. And when you're talking about structure, you try as much as you can to build players, not just relying on one player for the whole matches. I mean, in the course of friendly games, why do they call it friendly games? It should be a kind of discovery avenue.
Try out your talent.
Let it all rest. Get in somebody else. Let's give him a trial. And if he performs well, and so we'll now
we'll have to sit up. Yeah.
That is challenging me in this position. He definitely is going to work a little bit harder to keep that position. But if we are playing Enyimba or we are playing Access Football Academy, a friendly game, so how do you want to encourage the other players?
They will always say that the goalkeeper is as good as his defense. I mean, don't you see cracks, in the defense of the Super Eagles?
Like I said earlier, the coach of the Super Eagles, for me, is not the kind of national team coach. Nigeria. Giant of Africa.
If we were the NPFL president, you would have employed.
I would never, by any means, employ him as the national team coach. Nigeria have a crop of young, talented players in the national team right now. We just need a capable hand who can handle them properly. And also, is outdated. Modern goalkeeper, you have to have the ability to play with your defense.
True.
You have the ability to use your legs perfectly. You become the last man in the defense.
True.
Not just staying in the post and catching ball. No, football has gone beyond that level. So he needs to upgrade. I mean, is it either himself or we'll get someone else?
Well, talk about getting someone else. There's so much to even look into for the Super Eagles of Nigeria, especially in the midfield department where we have the likes of Wilfred Ndidi missing out due to injury. But Wilfred Ndidi has been on a very, very super form this season for Leicester City as they are tops of the championship table right there in the second division of English football. But again, away from Wilfred Ndidi, we also have those who will be orchestrating it in the midfield. We have the likes of Alex Iwobi. Alex Iwobi was a part of the Fulham side that suffered a 3-1 defeat in the hands of Aston Villa over the weekend. We also had Calvin Bassey in that team. We also, Bassey of course will be playing in the defense of Nigeria. But looking at our midfield, coach, you are somebody who, I mean, when I come to your training ground, when I see the way you train with Assets Football Academy. You naturally play in the midfield yourself. I wouldn't know the position you played in your days, but you play in the midfield. You're always there in the midfield to provide that solidity and that stability and balance for any team attacking or defending. Be able to find your rhythm and be able to compose the game. So how do we able to merge up this? Because the midfield is like the tying knot between the defense and the offense, the attack. So are we good here with the players that we have? Maybe I should just read the players. Rafael Oyedika of Club Brugge, Belgium. Joe Ayodele Aribo, Frank Onyeka, Alex Iwobi. Frank Onyeka also suffered defeat over the weekend in the hands of Liverpool as Brentford were defeated 3-0 on Sunday. So are you comfortable with this midfield?
Ndidi will be really missed. We will miss him seriously in that middle because it's more or less like the Sunday Olise of the old. Yeah, without Ndidi in that midfield, we're gonna be facing some challenges out there. And what's his name again?
Alex Iwobi.
Alex Iwobi has always been a fantastic player, but the combination of who, to play him with matters a lot. Is one of the players that when you look at the transition between the midfielder and the attacking force, Alex Iwobi has always been playing a vital role, and that is the key, because it doesn't matter how good a team is. You see that link between the midfield and the attacking force. That's where the magic is. You can rigmarole within your defense in the middle, and without that little connection, Iwobi, for me, Iwobi is the magic.
Well, Iwobi is the magic, but tell you magic happened just Sunday, where we saw Nigeria players who made the 23-man list of Jose Pizarro banging goals across Europe. Well, we saw Taiwo Awoniyi coming off for his very, very first start of injury. And of course, he scored the first goal in Nottingham Forest 2-3 defeat. We also saw players like Moses Simon in Nantes' defeat 1-3 against Rennes. He also scored the only goal for Nantes away from home in that match. Moses Simon will be playing from the wings. He actually came in as a substitute in the friendly games that we played previously. But in this one, he might just get a chance to start off from the wing amongst the first 11. But looking at our forwards, we have a lot of talent in our forward. And Jose Pizarro has come out to say that he prefers a 0.2-man attack. Meanwhile, a quartet of forwards, which means that there will be two wingers that will also back up these 2-point men. Sanusi, who would be your 4 players to be in front for Nigeria against Lesotho?
To be 4 players now, I'll have this new guy, Boniface.
Victor Boniface.
And
Awoniyi.
they're fantastic.
So who will play your wings?
Now I'll have Moses Simon. And on the list, can you go through the list?
Okay, on the list we will surely have Kelechi Iheanacho, Sadiq Umar, Moses Simon, Ademola Lookman, Taiwo Awoniyi, Terry Murphy, Victor Boniface, Nathan Tella, Ademola Lookman, Moses Simon.
Ademola Lookman is a drunk master. He knows how to disturb defenders. He's a very
but I think we're missing something out here.
Go ahead, coach.
If you watch our friendly match against
Saudi Arabia,
Iheanacho,
it was exceptional, wasn't it?
There is no reason whatsoever
he should be on the bench.
Any coach to bench Iheanacho for this match because he's in top form. Those goals are the kind of goals you see from people like Messi, people like De Bruyne,
exactly.
De Bruyne. These are the quality
classic
of the
goals.
It's a classic goal. So why? I don't see any reason why he should be on the bench.
So if you were to go with your quartet, who would be your 4 players up front for Nigeria? And in what order?
I'm going to start this guy.
Victor Boniface.
Boniface.
As your top 9.
Yeah, as my point man. And Iheanacho
will be his 8.
And Moses from the left and Ademola from the right. For me, these are the 4.
Well, these are the 4. Sanusi is having a breather. But of course, Shagos put it out there for you. You can also be a part of the conversation. Do not forget, this is still Von Sports Update, where we give you the biggest talking point and biggest stories making rounds in the world of sport. Well, of course, you can also join us on the comment section and let us know exactly who your first 11 would be for Nigeria versus Lesotho. But away from that, let's come back to local football, where the Nigeria Premier Football League Week 8 did play, and Lobby Stars are still on top of the table. Coach, I don't know if you still follow Nigeria football. I mean, you talk about the Nigeria Premier Football League. I don't know if you have hopes of transferring players to Nigeria Premier Football League, but of course, the league has been revamped. The league is looking more better. The league has a new face. The league has even a new sponsorship. Talk about the TV right of 1.6 billion naira that comes in. The company who are the sole sponsors, or rather primary sponsors of the league, GTI, will take 30% of that money, and taking 30% of it, the rest will be splitted amongst the 20 clubs in the league and as well as the administrators of the league. Koshegun, let me just ask you very quickly. Looking at the Nigeria Premier Football League, what prospect do you see generally, especially from this season?
Thank you. First and foremost, I'm a patriotic Nigerian.
Sure.
And I see good thing in everything about Nigeria. It doesn't matter what people think about Nigeria League. Whatever their perspective is quite different from my own belief about Nigeria League. I see Nigeria League getting better and better. Considering the kind of sponsorship deal we have right now, you see, that's a green light that something good can still happen in Nigeria football. Putting the right people in the right position. I mean, not bringing a round square peg in a round hole, like what we're having in Nigeria football right presently. The present Nigeria Football Federation president, I think he is doing a great job. He's really doing a great job, and I see Nigeria Premier League moving forward, getting better.
Well, talk about getting better. It was really better for some teams over the weekend. We had results come out for Duma United, having beaten Gombe United in Gombe by 3-0. They also were able to solidify still by defeating 2 seasons champions, Aqua United, by a lone goal. That was a game played on Saturday. And on Sunday, we had Kano Pillars defeat Aimba International 1-0. Katsina United were 1-0 victors over Rivers United. Kwara United and Shooting Stars were able to share the spoils in a 1-1 draw. And Lobby Stars maintained the top of the table by winning in a clean sheet fashion, defeating Sporting Lagos by a lone goal. It was a goalless affair when Tornadoes of Niger faced off against Bendel Insurance. Well, Plateau United played out a 3-1 victory over Abia Warriors. Fantastic that was. But the biggest game of the weekend was Remo Stars, who were just not shy. They were absolutely in a firing form, and fantastically, it was fabulous how 4 goals made the story. Well, defeating Gombe United by 4-0, Remo Stars really are living up to the dream. We have Sunshine Stars and Enugu Stars playing out a draw 2-2 in the last game of match day 8. Well, of course, the Nigeria Premier Football League table, this is exactly what it looks like. The table, the top 4 on the table, we have Lobby Stars on top after 8 games, goal difference of 5, points of 17. Second position is Remo Stars, 7 games, Mr. 1 on continental responsibility, 7 goal difference, and 15 points they have in second position. Enugu Rangers in third, 8 games, 5 goals for goal difference, and 14 points on the table. Shooting Stars as well, 8 games, 2 goal difference, and 14 points on the table. This is the first 4. Let's take you straight to the bottom 4, where Heartland Owerri, they played 7 games, 3 defeats and 4 draws. The only team in the Premier League to record, or rather yet to record a win. Heartland Owerri are bottom of the table with just 4 points after 7 games. Well, Bayelsa United, they are in 19th position. 7 games they played, -5 for goal difference, and 6 points they do have on the table. Aqua United, who were champions just 2 seasons ago, have found themselves in a relegation zone where they are placed in 18th spot after 8 games. They have a goal difference of -3 and with 7 points on the log. Enyimba International, well, they were the only ones who were able to pull through for continental action this season, despite not making it straight to the group stages. But Enyimba International are also struggling here at the local league. They are in 17th position, played 5 games, -1 goal difference, and they've only amassed 7 points. That's exactly how it is for the Nigerian Premier Football League. But let me quickly ask you, Sanusi, you might not just be really following Nigerian Football League. You quite look like a Chelsea fan, a City fan, a Man U fan. I don't know, but you tell. Oh, who do you see taking this season?
Well, this is just with Gates. It's too early to judge, and let's give them time. So, me, Lobby Stars, they're doing well. Enyimba, they're struggling. You won't believe Enyimba should be struggling out with Gates.
Honestly.
Also, let's just give them time.
But do you have a team in the NPFL?
Yeah, yes. I'm a very strong supporter of Sunshine Stars.
Sunshine Stars.
Yeah.
That's very nice.
Yeah,
and they're not doing badly, you know.
No. Currently now they are not disappointing like previous years. I know the last season we were struggling. We struggled last season.
But this season you are representing.
Now, this season we are not, at least there's development. So let's just give them time.
And do you know that's where I started from, Sunshine Stars.
Whoa.
That's where I started my career.
Well, maybe you might not see me in the next edition with a Sunshine Stars jersey. It just might happen. But of course, that's exactly for the Nigeria Premier Football League. Before we leave, I would just like for these 2 gentlemen to jump on the biggest action in Europe. Well, Chelsea fought tooth and nail to restore a point against Manchester City. What a game. 8 goals, 4 goals in the first half, 4 goals in the second half. Players who you didn't even expect came scoring. Defenders scored for Chelsea. Defenders scored for Manchester City. Cole Palmer, former player, scored. Raheem Sterling, former player, scored. It was a whole lot of drama. But at the end of the day, both teams gave us a whole lot to celebrate. Coach Sechego, how do you make up that game?
I don't think there could be any other match in Premier League in this season.
More interesting than that?
More interesting than that match. I think that should be the biggest match for the season. And besides that, I don't really talk much about Premier League. Reasons. I'm a patriotic Nigerian.
We Nigerians, you know that.
1945, no single Nigerian would buy a ticket to go and watch Premier League because they are yet to develop. But what I understand here is people prefer the Premier League to their local league. And that is one big thing about Turkish people. It doesn't matter what you're doing out there. If a local team is playing a friendly game, they would rather watch that local team than sitting down and watch Jesse. That's patriotism. And that's the only way forward. That's the only way we can build our league. I know Nigerians, they're more interested in Premier League. But if we can bring people back home, let's focus. Let's come together, put our hands together and see what we can do to have the Premier League-like league here in Nigeria. I think that's the way forward.
And it's also possible, honestly. It's not possible right now. We're having TV, right?
Yeah.
We're having clubs,
Yes, like just in addition to what my boss said earlier on, now we have a new hands on deck. That is in person of Honorable Elegbele, the new chairman of NPFL.
Yeah.
And we can see what he's doing. So if we have private individuals, private companies come together, let's bring up, let's build, plant grow. We build houses. Let's build our league. Nigeria, to me, Nigeria is the football capital of the world. Now, when we are talking about raw talent, we don't go to school to study football. We have it.
In essence,
We have it.
Abinibi, that's
We have
exactly
the
what it's called.
uranium of talent in Nigeria.
Mr. Pablo, to add to that, I've been around the country. It's a big shame to see a Premier League club playing on AstroTurf. They have to do something about it. And we must respect our Premier League clubs. We must respect the players. We must, at every, I don't really know how it's going to happen, but I know it's going to happen because I will not stop pushing the narratives. In Turkey, just one single club, Kasim Pasha, for instance, they have nothing less than 10 different training pitches in their sports center. 10, I'm not talking, no, you can't see any synthetic grass in any of the Turkish Premier League clubs. Their training ground, you can't see anything synthetic, natural grass. And the soil out there is a clay soil compared to Nigeria where things grow naturally. So what is the cause? What is causing this problem? Why is it difficult for a Premier League club in Nigeria to maintain a natural grass on their stadiums? Why synthetic?
Well, there's so many questions to ask about the Nigeria Premier League and of course about our football on the local soil that will naturally do improve the development. Well, questions like trips to games, questions like pitches, questions like facilities, questions like administration. But of course, this question will be gradually attended to in due time. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we will not wrap up this show without paying tribute to the Ghanaian player who passed on the pitch, Rafael Duamina, just 28 years old, collapsed on the pitch. Well, he's had so many health issues from Spain to Turkey, and of course, eventually he gave up at just 28. We pray that the soul does rest in peace. Well, away from that note, let's also tell you that in coming event, the Nigeria Volleyball Premier League Phase 2, the final phase, will be back. And it will be back from 15th of this month, from 15th, of course, starting on Friday. It will be huge. We also will be having, which of course started today, it is Bullet Basketball Tournament. You also want to join in that one and be able to be a part of the Hoops and Loops action going on at Mo Arena there, of course, here in the FCT. I just want to say thank you to our guests. Thank you so very much, Manager Shego Alade, for coming here today. Thank you so very much, Admin Biola Senisi. It's really a pleasure. Yeah. Well, of course, do not forget, you can also be a part of the broadcast and you can also comment right on the comment section. You know, we are on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, X, and you can also join us on every other social media platform, also on Facebook on our page, and do make yourself a part of the conversation. Comment and let us feel your view and be able to follow you as well. Also drop your first 11 for the Nigeria versus Lesotho game on Thursday night, the 16th, at the Gospel Akpabio Stadium in Akwa Ibom, Uyo. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure being your guide on the show. I had fun. I'm sure you did. We're back next time for another huge package on Von Sport Update. For now, my name is Sean. Have a good one.